Ever wished for a Kubernetes cluster in your local machine? Kind is the solution. Kind is a tool for running local Kubernetes clusters using Docker container nodes. You can run single or multi-node Kubernetes clusters out of your MacBook or PC. You need to have Kind installed. You can follow the documentation on their page. Here I have the version 0.19 installed. The next thing that you need is a Kind cluster configuration YAML. If you are going for a single node cluster, you don't need this. You can just pass the parameters into the Kind command itself. When you need a multi-node cluster with custom configuration, you might need a YAML file to describe the cluster. You define a cluster. The key component to it is the different nodes in the cluster. Here I have a control plane node and 3 worker nodes. All that we have additionally is some configuration for a local registry and making the control plane ingress ready, meaning you can run ingress controllers later out of this control plane. Some port mappings to do port forwarding from the containers to the host, and that's about it. So it's a pretty simple YAML config. Now once you have your cluster configuration YAML ready, you can go in to the terminal and say kind create cluster and then pass the config. Now it will start creating those nodes and the associated infrastructure. And it's done. You can use your normal kubectl commands to have a look at the nodes and what is running inside. So all kubectl commands work. Let's look at the nodes first. You can see that as expected, you have a 4-node cluster, a control plane, and 3 worker nodes. You can look for the different resources deployed. We don't have any at the moment. As given in the documentation, it uses Docker containers to run these different nodes. So if you do a Docker PS, you will see those Docker containers running. So in this case, we have 4 Docker containers running to create that cluster. So now we have a working multi-node Kubernetes cluster running in your local machine. That's it for today.